Hello, it's that time again. Not for an hour and a half video, probably, and definitely not for 3. But I've had a lot going on, so I'm gonna try to give you some updates, maybe a little more efficiently this time. First thing I want to say really quick, phenelzine, for anyone who's curious, I'm still taking the same dose, 37.5 milligrams. It's still working just as well. I have no side effects that I can discern at this point, and it's really great. Just as a refresher, if you didn't watch the last videos, or if it's been a long time and you don't remember what the hell I was talking about for multiple hours, it's not a cure for anxiety, but it has a very significant effect on both somatic or physical symptoms as well as mental stuff. And it makes things that should be unquestionably easy, like just walking outside my front door and existing a little bit, actually easy, and I can actually do that, and it's really great. And it's made exposure stuff that is a lot more intense for me, a lot more manageable. And yeah, basically, I strongly recommend you give it a shot if you haven't had luck with pharmaceuticals before. The number one thing I would say is you probably don't need as high of a dose as you might think you do if you read research about it, or if your doctor tells you what you might end up needing. The main reason for that is because the research about dosing phenelzine was done before the research which discovered the secondary mechanism of action which causes the anti-anxiety effect. And basically they kind of, the MAO inhibition effect and the anti-anxiety effect kind of work counter to each other. So while taking a higher dose will give you, I think, a more significant anti-anxiety effect for a short period, it will then stop working. That is my belief about why phenelzine stops working for some people, and some people have been taking it an eternity for multiple decades. No problem. And you'll have far fewer and far less intense side effects if you take a reasonable dose. And I have none at this point, like I said. My recommendation would be to aim for or slightly under about 0.5 milligram per kilogram, whereas you will probably hear the number 1 milligram per kilogram. So your mileage may vary, it almost certainly will, but get your weight in kilograms. If you're an American, convert it. It's roughly a factor of 2.2 that you're dividing your weight in pounds by, but just Google it, and yeah. So that's about all I have to say about phenelzine at the moment. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments or email me. My email is on the About section of my channel. YouTube moves that around, so I'll just say it out loud. It's jakeavpd@gmail.com. And I don't know whether I answer comments or emails faster. Generally, if something, wherever I get it, is about particular questions that I think I can answer in a useful way, I prioritize answering as quickly as possible. And otherwise, I kind of take my time sometimes, especially on comments these days, because my brain, it's everywhere. So let's go on to the next thing. Just brief updates. I did talk about how I was going to do a few different things in my last video. So I did go to a jewelry making class, and it was really fun, and there were initially 3 other people in it. One person ended up dropping out, and it was just 2 other people, and it was very chill. And we made brooches, and varying reasons I did not quite finish my project. I think another person also didn't quite finish hers, but on the last day I was planning to go a little bit early because we could do that, and instead I ended up going a little bit late because I had plumbing issues, but these things happen. Anyway, I was still working on finishing them up, but it was really fun and super chill. And the other thing is, I mentioned I was going to go to some dance classes, and I did. I don't know if I would say those were super chill, but I went more than once. I went to 2, which is something. It was definitely pretty humiliating. I am really uncoordinated, and like, I practiced beforehand. I knew what kind of dance we were doing and everything. So like, I knew theoretically what I was supposed to be doing, and it's just like my brain can't keep up, and I trip over myself, and it's embarrassing. And I'm getting better at living with embarrassment, but it did seem to kind of upset some people who were also students who were trying to teach me how to do it better. And I'm like, please trust me, I understand, I just can't actually do it. Anyway, I did it, which is pretty crazy. And I'm probably gonna try to keep dancing by myself a little bit at the very least, because it's a very interesting thing for me. You know, when I was first practicing trying to dance, it was like literally making me cry uncontrollably for no particular conscious reason, just like, I'm not supposed to be doing this, I'm taking up too much space. And that's exactly why I think people like us who have weird hangups like that should be doing things like that. Maybe I'll talk about that kind of thing more in a future video, probably, but I'm not going to ramble about it this time, mostly because I have no idea what I want to say about it at the moment. But, so yeah, then we're kind of getting on to some of the major updates. I'll start with something relatively minor, just throw it out there. I'm doing a 5K tomorrow, so that's cool. I've talked about doing one before on this channel, and never actually did it, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do it this time because I signed up and paid for it. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. My speed has been getting back up to a decent level in the last few months, so yeah, it's pretty cool. And so the big news, this is kind of hard to talk about because it's so huge and so insane for me. And I probably already told you in the title of the video, who knows? But it's 7 minutes in and you've waited long enough. I am going to become a therapist, which is pretty freaking insane. Yeah, so it's kind of a long story. I think a lot of us that have mental illness think about that kind of thing, and we're like, I don't know if I can really do that. It'd be cool if I could, but sometime in February, my therapist told me she thought I'd make a really good therapist, and she seemed to really mean it, and we talked about it a lot, and I was like, damn, that's really nice. And also, I think she might actually be right. Because, you know, the weird thing about AvPD is a whole lot of us really do want to talk to people on a deep level, on an emotional level, on a one-on-one level, and we have problems with things like exposing ourselves to uncertain situations, which are most situations, and many situations can remain uncertain no matter how long you repeat them. Even with a coworker or something, it's like, sure, you can get to know them, but it's not on a personal level necessarily, and so it can feel like terrifying to interact with that person every time. Not because you specifically think they don't like you, but just because they don't care that much because you're coworkers. And it's just like, oh God. At any moment, I could do something that would take this person from not caring to actively disliking me. You know, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like when you're speaking really deeply to one person, and it's a person who you can really relate to, and it's a person who wants to be open with you and is asking for your help. I feel like it's something that us people with AvPD can actually be really good at. And I'm gonna give it a shot. And I'm really excited. So, yeah, I've been suddenly preparing to go back to school, which is weird. And I never thought I was going to do that. So long story short, I'm starting in about 2 weeks. I'm doing an online program for my bachelor's degree. I'm doing interdisciplinary studies with a concentration on psychology. And the reason I decided to go that path is, there are multiple reasons, but you know, there are a lot of things that I've spent a lot of time doing. And I'm really interested in a degree program that lets me utilize those things to get some stuff done more quickly and more easily. And I'm going to be taking a ton of psychology classes, probably more in sheer number than is required by the major, or very close to it at least. But not necessarily every single class that is required by the major, because, you know, bachelor's level psychology degrees are fairly general and cover a whole wide range of things, you know, including biopsychology and research methods and stuff like that. And it's like, there's some extent to which I need to know stuff related to that, and also there's some extent to which it's like, those are not my interests, and I want to be a therapist. So yeah, and obviously I've looked at a bunch of programs. I'm going to need to do a master's program, and so I've looked at a bunch of stuff and figured out everything I'm going to need, so my planning makes sense. But yeah, basically in getting ready, dealing with a whole bunch of things. First off, I had to acquire my archived AP scores, which was quite an adventure, but finally the College Board sent them to my school. So I got 40 credits right off the bat, and in this system I need 120 credits to get my degree, so good start. And I've also gotten 9 credits through IT certifications. I just took some exams about random stuff that's not very interesting. Cloud computing, AWS development, Python programming, And just got that done real quick, and my school gives credits for those, so up to 3 of them. So I did 3 of them and got credit for that. And also my transfer credits from Georgia Tech count towards a separate limit than the max number of credits I can get from exams, so I'm at 57 hours of credit. And I also took a couple CLEP exams for Intro to Psychology and Human Growth and Development, so that I'm not going to get any more credits for those because I'm already at the limit, but that means that I don't have to do a very long prerequisites train, because basically I'm trying to finish this degree in as few semesters as possible. So getting those 2 done means I get to start in the junior level abnormal psych class this semester. So my plan tentatively is to start this summer and graduate after next summer. There's a possibility that I may be able to graduate after next spring, and I would really like to, just to say I did the whole thing in a year. But we'll see if that will happen or not. But yeah, so I'm going to be pretty close either way. Working really hard to get it done as fast as possible, and I've also been doing a number of other exams and things like that, and I went ahead and took the GRE, which is the Graduate Records Examination, if you're not familiar. I wasn't until now, really. I'd heard of it, but and that went really well. And I also took the psychology subtest for the GRE about a week ago, so I don't have my scores on that yet. Fingers crossed. It's not a requirement for any of the places I'm planning to apply to, but I'm hoping I got a really good score and it'll mean something. And yes, some people are like, isn't it kind of crazy to take that before you've actually taken any psychology classes? But I've been reading a lot. I've been studying really hard, and I think I did really well on it. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to, and that's kind of what I'm going to be up to. But another thing about it, of course, is that one thing that is always going to be a huge obstacle for me, and I can't fix it because I don't have time travel. I didn't really do anything for about 10 years of my life. Pretty much my young adulthood, I sat in my house. And it's like, I did work on projects occasionally when I wasn't feeling like complete shit. But I don't have a lot to show for it, right? And it makes it hard to get jobs. It makes it hard to apply to grad schools, things like that. So I'm doing my best to, form an application that is compelling, at the very least academically, and hopefully in some other ways. I have some volunteer stuff lined up. I am going to do volunteering for the crisis text line, 200 hours of that over the next year or so. And I get to start my training for that in also a couple weeks, something around there, which is cool. And I'm also going to be doing a mentorship program that my school system, my local K-12 school system does, where students that feel like they just kind of need somebody to talk to about pretty much anything can sign up for the program and get matched with a mentor. And so I'm going to be a mentor, and that's pretty cool. So that's going to be starting next school year, next K-12 school year in August, and going throughout that school year. And yeah, obviously I don't know who it's going to be yet, but I got to answer a lot of questions about my interests, which is cool. So hopefully it'll be someone that I can really talk to really well, and it will be a student at the high school. They do it for elementary, middle, and high school, and I was like, I think I'd probably work best with high school students, so that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff going on that I kind of never thought I could do more than anything. And I'm just really, really excited. Really grateful to my therapist. She's just awesome. And I don't know what else to say, man. It's crazy. I guess. I don't know. I've been looking at grad school options. I can talk about that a little bit. There is only one master's in counseling program that's near me, and it's extremely competitive at UGA. And I'm gonna apply, but I'm not counting on getting in. But we'll see. If I get in there, I will probably go there mostly for simplicity's sake, if nothing else. There are online programs I can do. I would much rather do my grad program in person, meet some other people who want to be therapists, stuff like that. Terrifying, yes, but these are the things we're trying to get better at. And just to clarify for anyone who isn't aware of how this works, because obviously I wasn't until very recently either, but so for the Master's in Counseling program, you have to complete that in order to be applicable for licensure, and then you have to do some continuing work stuff independently to get full licensure. And in the process of getting the master's degree, you do classes and stuff, of course, and then you also have to do a practicum and an internship where you basically just practice therapy for a lot of time. That's a lot of what the degree is. And so when I say an online program, I would still be doing a practicum and internship somewhere in Athens where I live, but the classes would be online. If I did end up going to UGA, they do their practicum and internship internally on the campus. And most places it's not like that. It's, it would be like choosing somewhere. And yeah, getting permission from everybody and all that. Then there are a couple schools I'm considering that are somewhere between 1 and 2 hours away from me, because those are the next closest. And I drove over to one the other day. The drive was not horrible, but I don't like driving, and it would amount to 3 hours of driving every day I had classes, which is a lot. But I don't know. I'm thinking about it, and obviously I've looked at, application deadlines and dates by which people announce any offers and how long you have to decide, and basically I should be good to apply everywhere I want and see what happens and then make a decision. And it's gonna be really hard no matter what, unless I get accepted to like literally one place, and then it'll be easy. But yeah, lots of decisions to make. And there's also a school I'm kind of interested in attending that's in California. And they do a, what do they call it? Reduced residency program. So basically, I would have to fly out once every semester and stay a few days and do a whole bunch of classes nonstop and then go back home. Yeah, kind of crazy. But also a lot easier than moving somewhere. I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. I can't predict my brain. I can't predict what's gonna feel the best. It's really important to me to succeed in this, and I'm going to. But yeah, I also want to make a choice that feels good personally, and hopefully meet some people and improve a little bit socially and personally still, because it's not as if I am without AvPD all of a sudden. I still don't really talk to people, and I don't want it to be like that. So I'm hoping in some ways I can also use this as a tool for personal development and meet some people, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's unpredictable, but more or less the timeline here is I'm trying to do this bachelor's program in roughly 1 year, because I have about half of the credits right now. And so it will probably take 4 semesters, summer, fall, spring, summer. But I might be able to cut off that last summer. We will see. It doesn't really make a difference as far as grad school stuff is concerned, but I kind of just want to do it anyway. But yeah. And then after that, the master's programs, they vary exactly how long they take. They're labeled as being somewhere between 2 to 3 years. Generally, it looks like it's a 5-semester kind of thing, maybe 6. So more or less what that would mean, timeline-wise, anyone who's keeping track of how old I'm getting, I'm keeping track, unfortunately. I'm about to turn 27. My birthday is in, I don't even know what today is. It's also in a few weeks. And yeah, I don't feel like I'm a young adult anymore, but you know, symbolically, the thing that feels good about it is I'm going to be done with this degree, this bachelor's degree, around the time I'm 28. And I'm hoping I will finish my master's degree around my 30th birthday. And then I can be like, yeah, no worries. I wasn't in my 30s. I just turned 30, and now I'm kind of doing the thing I want to do. And you know, that's the thing about it. Internally, it feels kind of awful, and it feels like you've wasted all this time. And well, you maybe have. You know, if I could go back and feel better and do literally anything during that time period, obviously I would do that, but I can't. And the thing is, at the end of the day, it's not too late to do stuff. And I still don't really believe that I'm doing this, but I do 100% believe that I'm going to. I feel really good about it. So that's kind of all. Some other things have happened. One rather terrifying thing happened outside my house the other day, which is totally unrelated to AvPD. I'm okay. It was kind of fucked up. I'm not going to talk about it otherwise. I'm not even sure why I'm telling you, but it's on my mind a little bit. But one other thing that I guess I should talk about a little bit happened. I decided to cut off contact with my mom for the time being. I wrote her a letter and told her why I felt like I had to do that. And I also told her I hope it's not forever. And I would just like to hear from her that she respects some of the difficulties I have in interacting with her and will make an effort to do differently. And once that happens, I will be happy to talk to her again. It's one of those things that feels really bad, you know? I hate it. I didn't want to ever do this. But it was the right choice for my health. And you know, I don't really want to get into specifics. You know, I think I've done that enough in other videos that I think, you know, people who know how it is understand. And you know, Mom, if you see this, I'm sorry. I care about you a lot. Anyway, not trying to get fucked up right now, but yeah, birthdays are gonna be a little weird this year. But you know, I guess I am gonna get fucked up right now. But another thing about my birthday this year, I'm turning 27, like I said, and shit kind of started to really go downhill for me when I was 17, and I told myself then, 10 years to find happiness, or else I was gonna go. And, you know, I'm not exactly where 17-year-old me was kind of counting on me being to stick around, but I'm going to, and I'm really happy that I am. I didn't really want to do that. Sorry, guys. I know you understand, but still kind of embarrassing, because, you know, AvPD stuff, I guess everybody's self-conscious about crying in front of people, crying on camera, you know, feeling like it's, you know, attention seeking or something. But anyway, I'm just really happy that I made it. And I think we're gonna end this video here on that wonderful note. Because yeah, my life is freaking crazy. I'm doing things now, and I don't have any idea where it's gonna go, where everything's gonna go. I'm gonna keep making videos, you know, at around the same pace. Maybe a little slower, we will see. I don't think I'm going to be overwhelmed for the time being, for the next year or so at the very least. Grad school may be pretty spicy, but this online program should be relatively no sweat. So I'll probably keep making videos at around the same interval when I feel like I have things to say. And no one knows when that's gonna happen, and certainly after my last video, I didn't think this is what my next video was gonna be about, or like, or anything like that. And I couldn't have guessed when I was gonna do it. And I just decided, you know, after I've been getting all the prep stuff done, I'm like, you know, this is really happening, and I have a pretty good idea of how it's going to happen, and I guess I should talk about it now. The moral of the story is, I still have AvPD. I'm still always gonna have AvPD, but also I'm gonna be a therapist. And you know, I'm not much of a reach for the stars, you can do whatever you set your mind to kind of guy, but fuck AvPD, do what you want. And, you know, you'll be surprised that someday it might actually freaking happen. It's really weird. And, you know, it's obviously not, this is not what I always dreamed of. I feel extremely passionate about it right now. But, you know, since I was no older than 11, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a game developer. I still do game development stuff. It's fun, and it's going to remain a hobby. It's not going to be my job, and I might actually have a job. Which I really... I'm in shock about so many things. That's all I can say. So we're keeping this one to half an hour. That's pretty good. I hope all of you are doing well, and I hope all of you do surprisingly better by the time I next see you in a couple months, because you just never know what's going to happen when your brain decides to cooperate for 5 seconds. And the other moral of the story is, you need nice, supportive people in your life. Obviously, given that I've now had a very good experience with therapy at last, and I'm about to become a therapist, I'm going to tell you, I think therapy is pretty awesome, and you should do it. And trust me, I understand that a whole lot of the time it ends up feeling actually worse than useless. Because if you're not a good fit with someone, and there's not a whole lot of communication around the fact that it is about goodness of fit, and it's not about you, and it's not that you're doing something wrong, you're not trying hard enough, it feels really painful. And at the end of the day, therapy is not the only thing that there is. But you need supportive people in your life. And the thing about AvPD is that you probably had kind of the opposite of that. And if you have access to a therapist and you can afford it, it's one of the easiest ways to guarantee that you can eventually find someone that genuinely cares about you and really makes a difference in your stupid little AvPD brain. You know I don't say that as an insult. I'm talking about me when I'm saying that. Oh yeah, and I have curtains on my windows now, which is awesome. Long story short, I've been doing a bunch of testing, online mostly. I took the psych GRE at UGA in a testing center because the general GRE was a complete disaster. I got the curtains to make sure they wouldn't freak out about the open window because people can see in and see your examination. But anyway, it was a whole train wreck. Like, I had to show them the ceiling in my kitchen. I had to show them outside of my garage. It took like 2 hours to check in before they let me take the damn test. But anyway, now I have curtains. So that's cool. And they're a solid color, and I guess I could use them as a green screen and do something really stupid if I felt like it. I don't know why I'm saying this, but it occurred to me, so word salad. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for being here, guys. And I say guys gender neutrally. All guys. I don't know. I feel really weird. I'm like, did I say enough? Because it's just like, same thing with phenelzine. I didn't want to make a video about taking phenelzine and how awesome it was until I was completely settled on every detail. And I got very close to that before I made my videos about it. And I'm just like that. I'm like, should I even tell them I'm going to school until after I've graduated? Got to figure everything out before I tell anyone. But, so yeah, I guess that's why I'm being weird about ending this video. But I'm actually ending it now. I hope you have a great day and a bunch of days. And I will talk to you soon-ish.